Hey guys, welcome back! Today we're drawing a full portrait using the Loomis method. But don't worry, I'll break it down my own way so it's super easy to follow. I'll be talking you through it step by step. So grab your pencil and draw along with me. The reference photo's up on my Pinterest. You can find the link in the description and follow the board to see more. Stick around till the end to get the full benefit. And if you find this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps support the channel. All right, let's get started.
So first we start with a basic circle. It doesn't have to be perfect, mine usually isn't. The goal here isn't precision, it's having something to build on. Think of this as the skull, just a light structure to anchor everything. Keep your pencil loose. If you press too hard early on, it's hard to adjust later. And trust me, you will need to adjust things. Now let's draw a horizontal line straight through the center of the circle. This is going to act like the brow line, a key landmark for placing the eyes and ears later on. Notice how this line isn't always halfway on a real head, but it's a great starting point. As you draw more faces, you'll tweak it naturally. Now from the brow line, we're adding two more guides. One above it for the hairline and one below it for the bottom of the nose. These thirds help break down the face in a way that just makes sense. Don't measure with a ruler. Use your pencil, hold it out, eyeball the thirds. The more you rely on feel, the faster you'll get better. Let's add the side plane now, a curved line hugging the side of the circle. This shows the side of the head where the ear and cheek start. It's subtle, but really helpful for keeping volume in your drawings. Want to check if it feels 3D? Tilt your paper a bit and see if the structure still looks solid from an angle. Now, let's add the vertical center line, the one that runs down the middle of the face. But here's the thing. The head in our reference is slightly turned to the left. So from our point of view, that line shifts to the right side of the circle. This line will guide the nose, lips, and chin. It's like the spine of the face. And from the brow, the nose, we drop the same distance again to find the chin. That gives us the classic three-part Loomis proportion. Hairline to brow, brow to nose, nose to chin. You don't have to be exact, just consistent. All right, time to add the jawline and the neck. This is where things get personal. Every face has a slightly different angle here. Follow the structure, but don't be afraid to curve or tilt based on your reference. You know what's fun? Drawing the neck confidently adds life. A stiff neck makes the whole head feel robotic. Relax those lines. Now that we've got the structure, it's time to drop in the main features, but super simple. Just two circles where the eyes will go, a small circle for the nose, and a light line to mark the mouth. We're not drawing the real features yet. This is just blocking out the zones. It helps you stay aligned and avoid ending up with a lopsided face. Think of this like laying out furniture in an empty room. You're checking if everything fits before adding the details. Trust this stage. It might not look pretty, but it sets you up for a strong portrait later. Let's begin by sketching two soft circles, one for each nostril. Don't worry about making them perfectly even. Just place them in gently using light HB pressure. Above that, we'll add a loose oval to block in the tip of the nose. This is just the basic structure, not the final shape. By the way, if your circles look a bit off, that's completely normal. Nobody nails it on the first try. Even pros adjust as they go. Next, I mark a subtle arc under the nostrils. This defines the bottom plane of the nose. Then I gently darken the inside shadows to suggest depth, especially beneath the tip. Everything here is done softly. We're still in the planning phase. You might not realize it, but the nose isn't defined by lines. It's defined by light and form. Focus on where the shadow sits, not just the contour. Now we add the bridge, that vertical stroke connecting the nose to the brow. Instead of using a single hard line, I sketch it with soft broken marks. That keeps the drawing feeling natural and organic. Here's a quick tip. If your lines feel too stiff, try holding the pencil further back. It forces your hand to loosen up and flow with the form. To finish this stage, I deepen the shadow beneath the nostrils and add a few strokes around the side plane to show volume. With just a few confident touches, the nose starts to pop out of the page. If it still looks weird at this point,
That's totally fine. You're building structure, not beauty. Beauty comes later, after the sketch knows where it's going. Let's start with a simple, curved line to mark the center of the mouth. This line follows the tilt of the face. Not too flat, not too sharp. It sets the tone for how the lips will rest on the face. Think of this line like the horizon. If it's off, everything above it will feel weird. Now we build the upper lip by placing 2 soft arcs, one for each side of the Cupid's bow. Use your HB pencil lightly, and don't close the shape completely yet. We're still feeling it out. Under the main line, sketch a soft curve for the lower lip. Keep it wider than you think. The bottom lip often feels fuller. You're just hinting at volume here, not defining edges. Lower lips are like shadows. If you outline them too hard, they lose their softness. Now refine the corners. Darken the edges slightly where the lips meet, then trace a subtle line between the lips to separate them. It's not a flat line, it dips and rises with the curve of the mouth. That dip in the center? It's the secret sauce. Without it, the mouth looks like it's pasted on. Here I start shading softly along the side of the neck, just where it meets the jaw. I'm using the flat side of the HB pencil, so the tone stays smooth and quiet. This isn't a hard line, it's more like a whisper. If you outline the neck, it'll feel cut out like paper. Now I hint at some light anatomical lines, just enough to suggest the neck muscles. You don't need to draw every tendon, just place a few soft curves to give it structure. Next, I shade gently under the cheekbone. This soft shadow helps separate the face from the neck. It also starts building the 3D effect, making the face feel like it has volume. Now I roughen the collar, nothing too detailed, just a few curved lines that follow the flow of the neck and shoulders. It gives the head context and balance. I always say even a loose neckline can ground the portrait. It stops the head from floating in space. Let's start with the eyebrows. I draw short, quick strokes following the natural hair direction, starting from the inner corner and going outward. Each stroke matters more than you think, so I keep them sharp, light, and a little uneven, just like real hair. Eyebrows are tricky. Draw them too clean, and they'll look fake. Draw them too messy, and they'll steal the whole face. Find that soft middle. Now let's move on to the ear. Using the side circle from the Loomis head, I sketch the outer shape, like a soft C, then add a few inner curves to suggest the folds. Everything is done lightly. We're not going for full realism, just structure. Ears are like fingerprints. No two are the same. You just need enough shape to tell the viewer, yep, that's an ear. To begin the hair, I first define its general shape, the overall mass sitting on top of the skull. I'm using simple curved lines to map the hairline and how it flows backward. No details yet. This is just the scaffolding. Think of this as blocking out a haircut with a wireframe. Without structure, your strands won't know where to go. Now I lightly sketch in the flow lines, guides for the main direction of hair movement. I follow the natural curve from the roots near the forehead to the outer shape I blocked in earlier. Hair has rhythm, and if you capture that, you won't even need to draw every strand. I begin to layer in the clumps of hair. Not every strand, just grouped lines that suggest texture and form. I use a flicking motion with the HB pencil, pressing lightly, then lifting off. This part's actually fun. It's more about gesture than accuracy, like dancing with a pencil. Finally, I darken a few sections where hair overlaps or turns inward. This adds depth without overworking it. I avoid outlining the hair completely, shading does the job better. If you're wondering, when do I stop? A good rule is when the hair starts to feel real enough, not perfect. Now let's give the shirt a bit of shading, nothing too detailed. I'm using soft diagonal strokes to suggest the fabric's folds and texture, just enough to say, hey, there's a body under here. You don't have to draw every wrinkle, just hint at the flow and the viewer's mind fills in the rest. That's the magic. Let's begin with the eyelids. I start by sketching the upper and lower eyelid shapes. Not too sharp, not too curved, just enough to suggest the form. If these first lines feel stiff, don't panic. They're guides. You'll soften or reinforce them later. I refine the upper lid and add the lash line. Notice I'm not drawing every lash, just a thicker, darker upper line to imply their presence. Overdrawing lashes is a classic beginner mistake. Less is more. Hint, don't declare. Next, I define the eyeball itself,
A soft oval sits tucked into the eyelids, never a perfect circle. I add shadow under the lid for depth. The whites of the eye aren't actually white, they catch shadows too. I build the area around the eye socket now, especially under the brow and around the lower lid. This structure makes the eye sit naturally in the skull. Time to place the iris and pupil. I shade them softly, keeping a highlight untouched to make the eye feel wet and real. Highlights are sacred. If you accidentally shade over one, grab your eraser like a superhero. Now for the pupil. This is where contrast really matters. I press down hard with my HB pencil to get the darkest value possible. This solid black makes the eye pop and draws attention. Don't be afraid to go dark. The bolder the pupil, the stronger the gaze. After that, I switch to a white gel pen and place a sharp highlight near the edge of the iris. Just one small dot. That reflection brings the whole eye to life. This is the magic moment. One dot of white, and suddenly, the drawing looks like it's staring back. And that's it. The full portrait, from the first circle to the final hairstroke. I really hope you enjoyed watching it come to life. This time, I tried something different with the voiceover. Let me know in the comments. Was it helpful? If you liked it, I'll do more videos like this with full explanations. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and follow my Pinterest for all the reference photos. Links in the description. If you made it this far, you're not just watching, you're learning. Thanks for being here.